All right, round 4 is next, and now we have Defenswar versus the Chad Stride. Good old the Chad Gavone. You know, we still can't decide which one we're going to go with him, apparently. I personally like the Chad. I'm not going to lie. I really like the Chad. But another awesome game here from OLS 14. We'll see who is able to advance and increase their shots at making the top 8 here, as there will be 6 rounds of Swiss, followed by cut the top 8. Top 8 being the next day on day 2. So without further ado, round 4 of OLS 14. So it looks like we are getting into game 1 here. We're going to have Team Sultan's Defenswar going up against the Chad Stride, the one and only. Let's go ahead and get into the game. Round 4, ladies and gentlemen. OLS number 14. And we're going to do another poll. See who you guys think. I'm just going to go ham on these polls now. Every day, all day, we got polls all over the place. All right? It's happening. Boulevard, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
I was like, that's the longest I've heard you be silent in like all year.
I'm trying to get comfortable because I'm currently on what, hour like 10 or 9 of casting. I still have another like 6 ahead of me.
That's it? Only 10? Jesus. God, man, come on. Yeah, actually
it's only because I'm not on like the final stretch. I have a lot more to go.
Yeah, we got a few more rounds of this bad boy before we wrap it up for today. So everybody strap in. We got, what is this? This is round 4, so I think we got 6 more rounds to go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Gonna be fine for all of it. I just need to find a way to stay comfy through all of it. You know, I don't have the best chair in the world. Wink, wink, sponsor, wink, wink.
You need that lumbar support, man.
Yeah.
All right, we have here's another. All right, we were just talking about 3
Yeah,
boss.
there's another one to get excited.
Yep, which is now being played a lot more than it was previously. So,
granted, it never feels great to. That actually seemed kind of weird to me, just because you're going into a 6 mana turn, which is nothing. You know, if you assuming that you just leave that around, and then other than that, I mean, like Trundle was already going to come down. You got rid of a card of yours in order to make sure that that didn't stick around. It just seemed like a pretty big commitment.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. But hey, I mean, listen, you're going up against a ramp deck. You want it to not be able to do what it's supposed to do. And I don't, unfortunately, with the way these ramp decks are built nowadays, I don't think killing a single Wording Stones is actually going to do a whole lot, because we're still almost already enlightened. So this is going to be rough here for the Chad. And Vimer. Good to see Vimer finally, too. I was talking about this earlier. I did want to actually see this get played today, see if it's able to pick up a win. And I think we've seen Chad actually bring Vimer a couple times now at some tournaments in the past. I'm trying to think. Was it the last OLS that we saw Chad bring Vimer as well? He's been kind of ahead of the curve with this deck.
Yeah, he was actually really big on the Lemur deck, playing that Lee Sin Heimer once Lee Sin got his initial rework going towards, you know, I mean, obviously Zed Lee Sin or even just mono Lee Sin Targon for quite some time managed to be the forefront of the Lee Sin decks in the meta, but there were a couple of diehard fans that thought, no, you know, I really like the Heimerdinger in this deck. It's something that I want to continue to experiment with, but Chad's never really been one to bring meta decks. I think this is the first week that we finally gotten him off of the Swain Sejuani Feel the Rush.
Yeah, Swain, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I definitely give him some credit for creativity with that deck. So it's definitely fun to watch a kind of a different version of Feel the Rush there. But nonetheless, we do have Vimer. And right now, doesn't look like it's faring too hot versus this Feel the Rush deck. This is looking rough.
I'm not going to lie. I actually asked him what he was going to play this weekend, and he had expressed an interest in running either Swain Ezreal or Draven Ezreal, but doesn't own Ezreal.
Wait, what?
He does not own any copies of Ezreal.
Wait, it's actually possible to not have cards in this game?
there were a couple of times where I pushed this man to play Endure Spiders, and he's like, yeah, that sounds good. And he comes back to me a couple minutes later, and he's like, wait, I don't own Callista, and I don't want to craft her for this deck.
What? Like, I think it actually takes skill and effort at this point to not have all the cards in the game. Like, you need to actively try to not get all the cards in the game to not get them. Like, that's insane.
So I remember I tried to do something similar with League of Legends where I never wanted to own Fiora or Fizz. Because I had no intention of ever playing these champions. When I played ARAMs, I didn't want to randomly end up playing them or anything like that. And it wasn't until my friends physically held me down and bought them on my account that I finally owned those champions.
So actually, one thing to note, actually that's a good point, Habita in chat. So this is, I'll specify if we keep doing this per match moving forward. This is for the match, not the game. So this is just a who do you think will win the best of 3, not just this particular game, because I do agree seeing the hand.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't clarify. Again, this is a new thing.
You just made that up.
No. That's what I meant to do in the beginning. But the only reason Cephalopods was like that is because it was the end of the thing. It was the last game. So.
Oh. There's a Commander Ladros after a missed 1 damage ping onto the Ice Pillar. Pretty irrelevant, but
I think
yeah, this Ladros is and still yeah, I mean you kind of have to go for the Comet onto the Trundle. As much as you would love to obliterate this Ladros, you don't have an answer for that Trundle attack on the following turn.
Yeah, you don't really have an answer to much right now, to be honest with you. And now that you have the vulnerable, I think you still end up dying because you have both these units have vulnerable.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be able to push for game here. And yeah.
It's just a surrender.
Defenswar going to go ahead and pick up game 1 there over the Chad. Really underwhelming. Just really.
Weimar.
Yeah, that was. Whew. You know, I listen. I'm just going to reiterate what I said before.
Go ahead.
I played Weimar and it was trash. So now,
well, you know,
I could just be trash. I don't know.
A little birdie told me, and I only know this because Gems had mentioned it. According to Alan ZQ, Weimar is the best deck in the game, but nobody plays it properly.
Lies.
I see. I'm inclined to agree with you. I feel like we get top players quoted at us a lot, and I've always kind of hated just quotes in general because just because somebody said it doesn't mean it's true.
Well, it's like let's take Albert Einstein as an example. Albert Einstein has said some
everything
shit in
that
his
man
day.
said was gospel.
Yeah, but
pick somebody else.
There's a lot of things that man has said that is like so ridiculously dumb. It's not even funny.
I think the only 2 things I know from him are his theory of relativity and that the smartest thing he ever did was soft boiling an egg at the same time that he made soup so he could have 2 meals in one pot. And those are the only 2 things I know him for. And I don't like soft-boiled eggs, so that second one's pretty irrelevant to me. And I don't like to think too much about light speed and interstellar travel because it makes me feel small and scared. So honestly, Albert Einstein, a totally useless man to me.
All right, listen, I actually didn't know that part about the soft-boiled egg. So, fun fact of the day that I learned. Good stuff. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's definitely something to be said about just taking something as gospel strictly because the person is like well known. Yeah, so I agree. I think this deck is garbage right now. I can't even if right you get Heimer on the field. What elusive is what 6 cost now?
Yeah.
So there's literally like no real win condition with the turrets. You have the overwhelm turret. Is overwhelm 3 now? Is that what it is? No, that's fearsome.
It's fearsome. Yeah, it definitely plays a lot more like a value deck than the like, hey, I found a turn where your defenses were down and I snuck in a bunch of turrets. One thing that I actually did notice in the hand of Gavone here is that he's playing Flash of Brilliance, and that has, as far as I've seen, completely across the board been cut from these Weimar lists. He's actually running very different than the typical Weimar list. He's not running the Star Guardian or the Spring Guardian. He's not running the Sump Dredger. Instead, going for Solari Priestess and Solari Shield Bearer. And it feels like what Gavone has brought here is much more of a Heimerdinger deck rather than the traditional Weimar list that we're seeing out of a lot of the Europeans.
Oh yeah, I could definitely get on board with his build. Like, not having the Star Guardian, like that makes sense. But I just don't see very good things in the future for this deck. So, what is a 5 cost turret now? Is it?
That's it's still quick attack.
No, that's
Are
quick
you
attack.
spectating?
Oh yeah, I can hover. Never mind.
No, I was just asking because
Listen,
I like just started and they're on turn 6.
Here, no. I'm spectating. So turrets are, yeah, I know the 0, 1, and 2 doesn't really change. So 3 is fearsome, 4 is overwhelm. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Because really the only real win conditions you can have now, because 6 is too expensive, would be a wide board of overwhelm turrets or a wide board of fearsome turrets. And
I actually see the tough turrets come up really big. And
yeah,
one thing that I do like, and unfortunately the Solari Priestess can't get it for you, Cosmic Inspiration is a very realistic win condition for a Heimerdinger deck. Because you have a near infinite supply of units. But, I mean, any deck that gets Cosmic Inspiration is going to feel like it's heavily favored to win that game. It doesn't feel particularly fair to say, oh yeah, Heimer does it better than everybody else, because it's a very good thing conceptually anyway. You know, does Heimer doing it better really win him that many more games when you still have to find the Cosmic Inspiration?
I mean, yeah, conceptually, Heimer's an amazing card, but realistically, he doesn't get played. So, I don't know. I just, we'll see. I mean, this is, on the side of Defenswar, I was going to say this is usually a slower deck, but now we have a Star Spring on the field, and it's currently at 6 out of 22. This is going to get exponentially worse as the game goes on. And I don't really see, there's no real way for the Chad to press any real aggression. I guess you could do it with multiple Vi attacks. So if you're able to get a Vi to 6, so I guess that's kind of a win condition here in this particular matchup anyways, right? Like, if Chad is able to get a really big Vi, we basically can just kill anything on the board of Defenswar no matter how much buffs he puts on that unit.
Yeah, the concern that you would have is you have to get the Vi to a certain point before you actually get her down, otherwise Tahm Kench can just eat her.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really tough because you do still have to be cognizant of Astral Protection.
And Hush.
And we're actually just straight up going for the Mystic Shot onto this Tahm Kench to start things off. That does mean that we are going to sacrifice our Heimerdinger to the Boxtopus.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I feel like Chad goes for this Vi strategy. Because in all reality, it's not... You're worried about Hush. There's only a 1 of Hush in Defensewar's deck.
That's wild.
But, yeah, I know, right? But, I mean, but when are you not worried about Hush? So it just is what it is. But,
yeah.
But Vi, like... With all these, you got gems, you got, you know, you got all these really cheap spells that you can play. I don't see any reason why Vi can't get well above 12 attack, like, really easy. Which puts it outside of 2 Astral Projections, which is really, I think, all you really need to worry about.
I mean, how are you getting Vi to 12 attack?
Well, it's at 4 already. I mean,
she caps at 10.
Wait, what? Oh, wait, did it... Wait, what? Why did I ever think... Was there a time when she went above 10?
No, I mean, like, you can use Vault Breakers and...
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of?
Maybe you're just still thinking about the Cosmic Inspiration
No,
line.
what was the pre... Vi had an issue that she was nerfed for originally. Besides the 5 health.
Oh, there was a thing where... Oh, man. I know what you're talking about, and I think it was...
I can't remember what the heck it was.
Oh, yeah, it was something to do with, like, leveling her, and then all leveled copies came down with some kind of nonsense or something.
Oh, the leveled copies kept going up or something like that past the 10?
Yeah, I think it was, if you had Vi on field and then a Vi in hand, and then you leveled the Vi on field, like, the ones in hand would keep the buff and then also come down at 10 attack.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah. Yep. All right, so never mind. That will not work. I mean, I still think that's a viable strategy. Yeah, I did that one. I still think that's... Wow, that was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. All right, everybody. Boulevard, you can't see him. He's on camera, but he's leaving. He has left the building. I still think it's definitely doable because 10 attack is still decent for Defensewar's deck to deal with. But I don't know, like I still have a hard time finding like how Chad will be able to win with this deck against Starspring.
I'm very surprised that we saw a pass here. And oh, never mind, that's right. Tahm Kench was killed. This is another Tahm Kench, and something that I find really weird is despite the wording of an acquired taste, you actually it is attached to the Tahm Kench that created it. If you play a Tahm Kench, get an acquired taste, and then that Tahm Kench dies and you play a new one, you cannot acquire taste with the new Tahm Kench, even though it just says Tahm Kench swallows an enemy unit. I always found that one pretty weird.
Wait, you can't swallow a top... Say that again?
So at the start of the turn, Defenswar's Tahm Kench made an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Then that Tahm Kench died. Defenswar played a new Tahm Kench. You cannot play the old acquired taste.
Oh, really? I did not know that that's how that interaction worked.
Yeah, and I'm not totally sure why.
I feel like that should be a bug. I feel like that shouldn't work like that.
Something that actually just got confirmed as a bug today that we saw a lot in EU Masters was if you concerted strike and you kill the unit with the first hit and then the second hit is a River Shaper still draws a spell. And that has come up a lot in Shen Fiora matches, and today it got confirmed that that's actually a bug.
Ah, okay. Wow. So, still finding bugs here and there. Lots of weird interactions. And that just goes to show you how many interactions haven't happened yet in this game. No matter how many games we've seen played, there are still really, really weird situations that come up because of the interactivity that's in this game.
All right, so we're going to see the double Mystic Shot onto Box Deposit. Even if this doesn't work out for Chad, you are still getting the additional units from the Mystic Shot. Now, if you want to, I think that Get Excited discarding the Wrench Bot is pretty good too. Yeah, now another card has to be committed by Defenswar. It pretty much has to be Astral Protection or Bastion. And even if it doesn't work, that is still 3 turrets generated for Chad.
Yeah, so you don't really feel too bad about losing the Heimer, but...
There's the Astral.
So here's...
Why are we calling him Chad again? We called him Gavone for so long.
I don't know. I think we gave up.
Oh, it's just a surrender on the kill on the Heimerdinger. And
that's...
Yeah, this Heimer deck not looking great, and that is going to be Gavone moving down to a 2-2 record, just not able to find the win with this deck.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a real hard... Alan's EQ was dead wrong. Like, I was just getting... Like, not even close. This deck is garbage.
I'm clipping that and sending it to Alan.
No, go for it,
I can't wait to start my first Twitter war. Oh boy, oh boy.
This deck, I just can't side with that man on this. Like, whew. All right, so Defenswar picking up a win there. The Chad not looking like he'll be able to make top cut this time around, so very unfortunate there. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that bell so you guys get notified when the remainder of day 1 goes live. And as always, everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.